Hello, welcome to Polyrhythms 1, Part B. So last time we looked at the first part of our polyrhythm. Now we're going to look at a second part. So for those of you that don't really know what polyrhythm means, it just means that you have more than one rhythm pattern that's layered over the other. Today, for Polyrhythms 1, we're starting out with rhythms that are the same meter. And later on, we're going to go into polyrhythms that don't use the same meter but still layer over each other, so stay tuned. Okay, so this second little rhythm pattern that we layer is significantly more complex than the first, but it's also in 4/4, so I'm going to go ahead and write 4/4 here. Now I'm going to write these on staffs that are right underneath each other so that you can see how the notes and the counts line up together. So I'm going to line up with the same counts that you see here. So pay attention to the counts that we had from part A. Okay, choosing purple for this rhythm. Okay, here's 4/4 again. So notice also that we're still always going to write the meter at the beginning of the staff for each little rhythm. Because even though they're the same meter, because in the future they won't always be the same meter. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so this one is interesting because it uses a lot of syncopation. As you know, syncopation is rhythms that put the emphasis in between beats or on beats that are usually less important. So when we're looking at 4/4, when we just say it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, you notice that we have a strong emphasis on beat 1, no emphasis on beat 2, somewhat of an emphasis on beat 3, and then no emphasis on beat 4. Listen to that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this particular rhythm actually starts on count 2, so it's already giving you a little syncopation that way. I'm going to do this slowly. And I'm going to count in ands as well, because there are some notes that are in between beats. So we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You can hear already how this is much more complicated, right? So you notice your first beat is silent, so that is where we put the rest. So beat 1, we have a nice quarter note rest. After that, on beats 2 and 3, you're going to hear quarter notes. 1 and 2 and 3. Listen to that again. 1 and 2 and 3. So here's our quarter notes. And we're going to choose a higher pitch on the staff because we're using the rim. 2, 3. Now notice that there's no beat, there's no tap on beat 4, but there is one on the end of 4. Listen to this carefully. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Listen to that again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So notice that half of the beat is silent, and then half of the beat there's a note. So we divide this into a duple subdivision, 4 and. Those are eighth notes, right? But the first eighth note is silent, so we write it as an eighth note rest, which looks like this. Notice it looks kind of like a little number 7 with a ball on the end. And then we have our eighth note on and. So, and our bar line is continued from the top. Now, since we are doing so many things on ands, I'm going to go ahead and write in ands into our counts in the staff. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay, so now let's do the second measure. If you need to go up and talk to them, go ahead, it's fine. We'll be busy here. Baba Anoche will be back to play with us.
Morning.
How are you?
Good.
Okay.
Good. Emeka?
So in our second measure,
Oh,
I
did
was just
you
checking
call?
out. Yeah, I was just checking out. Like,
Oh,
come see the store, everything.
sure, I heard you call on the
Yeah,
phone.
yeah, no problem. Nice way. A lot of cool stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
thanks for being patient. On the second measure, we're going to start on the first beat right away with the tap. So you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Notice that most of that is on ands. So listen again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so the first beat is the easiest because we have a quarter note there. 1 and 2. Now notice on 2, we didn't do any tapping there. We didn't play anything. So, but we do have a note on the and. So we're going to go 1 and 2. That's going to be silent, so we need an eighth note rest. And then we're going to play on the and of 2. Hello.
Hello. Hey, thank you.
Nice to see you too. So we're going to play on the and of 2.
Nice, huh?
So here we're going to put our eighth note. So notice together that's going to make the second beat. 1 and 2 and. Now notice we have kind of a long wait before we hear the drum again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you know you're going to put 2 little eighth notes on the fourth beat. 4 and. So let's go ahead and put those down. 4 and. But notice there's quite a bit of space for 3 and where we don't have anything played. So there's a couple ways we could do this. We could write a quarter note rest like that. Or, and this is a little more common because you do hear the note still ringing.
What is this?
Here it takes a little while for the sound to decay on the drum. If you want to show that the sound is extended a little bit longer, or if you're playing something like a violin or a piano and you're using this same rhythmic structure, and you want that note to hold through the duration of the and of 2 and then 3 and, what you want to do is you want to combine a quarter note with an eighth note value. So remember that that is written this way as a dotted quarter note. So let's talk about the differences between those for a moment. So if we use the dotted quarter note, that means we're holding a note through and 3 and. So if, let's say I were singing this in a rhythm, I might go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's see if I can use different notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So notice I held my voice through and 3 and. Now, if I want that to be short, then I'm going to get rid of the dot. I'm going to make this an eighth note, and I'm going to put down a quarter note rest. So the difference in that is that I'm not going to hold this for that long duration. So it would sound like 1 and 2 and 3 and, I'm sorry, I did that wrong. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So notice I was speaking on the 3. I did not sing anything. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's a fine difference, but there is a difference there. Now, since we are using the drum and the decay is pretty fast in the sound, we're going to keep it an eighth note. All right, so let's go ahead and count and do this rhythm together. Okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's do that again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Sped up, it's like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We can also do this with 2 hands on the rim if it starts feeling a little bit fast for 1 hand to repeat over again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. A much more sped up would be. Okay, and there you have it. All right, that's your part B. Stay tuned for part C.